Well, this is weird. I guess I'm live. I don't know. My phone has a totally different look to it than normal. So I have no idea if I'm live or not. So we're just gonna, I guess, go with it and assume that I'm live. Am I the right orientation for you guys? Because this is very strange. Looking at it, if I tap on myself, what happens? Nothing. Okay. Um, I don't know. Somebody comment and let me know if you actually see me. Um, well, I just popped up on my iPad, so I hope that I'm live, and I hope the orientation is correct, because normally on when I'm looking on my phone, it's like the whole screen. I can see myself on the whole screen, but now I've got this little tiny little square that's on there, so I don't know. Oh, I am cockeyed. Well, that's not helpful. All right, hold on. What the heck? Why does YouTube do this every time, you guys? What is this? No, that's not what I want to do. I have this bad feeling that when I made this live earlier today, that I didn't click the stupid horizontal button. And so that's a problem. Because now I can't fix it because YouTube does not allow you to change that once you're live. So that's great. Because I did have some issues with it when I was trying to get it to go. When I was trying to schedule it today, I had some issues with it, and this does not make me very happy, YouTube. Why won't they let you switch it? They won't. There's nothing I can do about it. This is how it's going to be, and this is super annoying. And I apologize to everyone that has to watch this like this because it is super annoying. So that means that my workspace is going to be like this big because I can't change my phone. So that's really weird. Yeah, so I guess we'll just sit here like this and do my little chatting until it's time to go turn it. So I'm going to have to like turn my whole contraption, the whole way I normally have my phone set up here. I'm going to have to turn that also. So this is going to be interesting. I am really sorry about this, you guys, like really sorry, but it is what it is. So what's been going on here? I dyed my hair again. I think I finally found the right color. I've tried like 3 or 4 colors so far because I've been dyeing my own hair because I just can't seem to find a hairdresser. Well, that's not really true. I haven't really tried because after I got rid of my hairdresser I'd had for a really long time and I went to this new person and she didn't ever listen to what I asked her to do with my hair, I had to kind of leave her as well. So I've been coloring it myself, which I mean I used to do when I was younger, so it's not a big deal. I know how to do it, but it was been a struggle trying to find the right color. So I've tried, I think, 3 different colors now, and this last one I think is the ticket. It's not too light, it's not too dark, it's just right. So I'm pretty happy with it. I do need a haircut though. That is something that I really do need to try to find somebody that can cut my hair, and not like it's difficult to cut my hair. Now that I'm kind of letting it grow out, it's like not going to be that big of a deal, but it is what it is. So yeah. What else is going on around here? Mary wants to know if I can sign off and come back. If I do that, Mary, then it's going to be a completely different link, a completely different everything. And then that has its own set of problems. So yeah, YouTube does not make it easy for you to change the orientation of your live once you choose it, which is really dumb because I don't see what difference does it make? Why can't I just tell my phone or YouTube, yeah, I don't want to be live in this mode anymore. I want to switch it. And why can't I do that? I don't know. So anyways, here we are. My daughter has started studying for her final CPA exam this week. So she's getting to where she's ready for it to be over. She's studied a lot and she's getting kind of tired of it and she's ready for it to be over. And I don't blame her. So she'll find out here in a couple of weeks whether she passed the second and third test. At least I think the second and third test. Maybe it's just the second test. I can't remember now. It's so weird how they release the information. But anyways, yeah, I appreciate the thought, Mary, because you never know. But yeah, that's got its own set of problems when you try to stop the live and then make a new one and then nobody has the link and it's just technology is a real bugger all the time. I just can't even tell you how frustrating technology is. So anyway, my son's doing good. He had a wedding last weekend, so now he's back to work after he got back from Alaska. Oh, it's my anniversary today. Woohoo, happy anniversary to me. My husband and I have been married for 26 years today. So that's pretty exciting. What are we doing? Absolutely nothing. We don't do anything. We give each other cards. That's all. We're just not the kind of people that need, I don't know, that need like a big to-do about birthdays or Christmas or anniversaries. Because of course, when we got married originally, we were poor, starving newlyweds like a lot of people. And so we just didn't, we didn't do anything. We didn't buy gifts because we're like, if I need something, I'm going to get it. And like if he tried to buy me something, it might not be something that I really want, or maybe it's not going to fit, and the same thing. And so we've just never been into the gift giving kind of thing, which is fine. Neither one of us cares. So he got me a card. I made him a card and I put a funny little quip in there. I can't even remember what it said, or I'd tell you guys, but it was funny. Something along the lines of, he's super lucky to be married to me. I'm lucky as well. But, the joke is always, you are lucky to be married to me. So there you go. I guess since there's not really a whole lot going on around here. Oh, wow. Everybody's having anniversaries. That's awesome. Well, happy anniversary to everybody else too. I think this kind of, obviously summertime is probably extremely popular for weddings. So, ours was no different. And my brother and sister-in-law had their 38th anniversary last week. But they do like to do things. They went to Chico Hot Springs, if any of you are familiar with that. It's a place in Montana. So they always like to go there. And, more power to them. All right, so I'm going to flip the camera. I mean, maybe. We'll see what happens. And then we're going to get started with my cute projects this week. Patricia says her husband always gets her flowers and she makes him his favorite meal. That's awesome. I'm giving my husband leftovers. I know it sounds terrible, but again, we'll probably get some, because tomorrow's Friday and he's off tomorrow. So we'll probably, I don't know, maybe go out somewhere, not like anywhere fancy, like Perkins, something like that. Because we're just not fancy people. What do you do? Okay, I'm going to flip this now. Crossed fingers that it works. We'll see what happens and let's go. All right, try that again. Okay, it did work. Now I'm going to stick it into the holder. Oh, this is just going to be so dumb. I am so mad about this, you guys. I am so sorry. This is super annoying. I also have to be aware of the buttons on the side of my phone so I don't screw them into the holder and then, accidentally shut my phone off or something like that, because that would not really work out so great. Okay, so we're going to tighten this. We've got everything tightened. Ugh, this is terrible. Well, I'm just going to have to do my best, and I need to adjust this just a tiny bit. Okay. That's as good as it's going to get, you guys, and I apologize. Let me get my glasses on. Let me get my hair clipped back out of my way, because otherwise it's going to hang in my face because it's getting long, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. So now Kelly and I will be even more like twins. People always think we're twins, and so now we'll look even more like twins. Crazy. Okay, so something you guys might not be aware of. We have a brand new brochure. It is called the Scrapbooking Brochure. It is only a digital catalog, so it's not something I could mail to you if you wanted it. You can look at it online. I do have a link to it in the description of this video. You can download it to your own computer. You can print it off if you would so desire. But anyways, it is pretty cool. What we have now are some scrapbooking workshop kits. And so what those are, they are kits that Stampin' Up! Has designed to create 6 two-page layouts. No, that's not right. 3 two-page layouts for a total of 6 pages. And so the kits are designed with enough papers. They come with a little insert that goes into the kit that kind of tells you how to cut the paper, how to put it all together. Super cool. The other thing that's in this brochure is the introduction of our brand new two-tone cardstock, you guys. We are now going to be let me kind of rephrase that. It says it's called two-tone cardstock, but it is not as thick as our regular cardstock. So think more like maybe a little bit thicker designer series paper rather than cardstock. So basically what it is it has a white core. So it has been printed on one side. Let's just say real red, for instance. It's been printed on one side to be real red. The opposite side has been printed to be a lighter version of real red, so that when you fold the paper over, as you can sort of see here, you get that two-tone effect. Okay, so it's going to be super cool. It's got the white core. There's going to be a lot of really cool techniques we're going to be able to do with it, and I am really excited about this. And yes, Mary said there's some super cute Halloween designer series paper in there, and there is. Super excited about that too. So I am doing product shares, as you guys probably know, because we also have our upcoming September to December holiday catalog going live. So I have added an option to get this two-tone cardstock as a share also. So you can see I have listed over here how many sheets you'll get in the share. They're going to be 6 by 6. The paper is sold 12 by 12. I'm going to cut it to 6 by 6. So you're going to get a certain number of sheets of all the different colors. And if you want to add that to your product share, you absolutely can. If you are currently already signed up for a product share, let me know. And I'll send you a PayPal invoice for a little bit less money, because if you've already paid for a share, you've already paid for the shipping. So the link to get onto the shares is in this description of this video. And so there you go. Join in. It's going to be fun. And again, the product shares that I always do, I do have them here to share with you. So we have the embellishments. They come, I have them on this cute little folded card. You get some of the gold leaves also with the embellishments. We also have, where are they? Here they are, these cute little white snowflakes. I don't actually have those separated out yet, but you'll get those as well. You'll get one of these fun little book boxes. I have mine put together with look at that. And then this box will stick down here, and then you can close it up with some adhesive or a little glue dot or a Velcro or something like that. Super fun. You're going to get some ribbon. So we've got some of the different ribbons in the share. You're going to get a sampling of the brand new note cards and envelopes, or cards and envelopes, I should say. They're not note card size. So these are really pretty. And then, of course, the piece de la resistance, however that even is said, the designer series paper. So you'll get all of the designer series papers, and you'll get a little 6 by 6 sampling of all of them, along with the glimmer papers too. So yeah, get yourself on my product share list, and that'll be really fun. Okay. We've got our catalog kickoff party going on. We are getting everybody into the group, so go ahead and register with the link in the description. We also have make and take kits available. I sent out PayPal invoices, and then you can just click on that and pay that. My iconic imagery online class is going live tomorrow. So the kits are going out probably Saturday. And if you're still looking to get one, I have a few extras. The link is in the description. Today, let's see, Saturday is the last day to redeem your coupon codes or take advantage of the 15% off designer series papers. So make sure you pay attention to that. The cards that I'm going to make for you guys today, this is a 2-week kit. So you will have through, I believe it's September 11th. Yes, through September 11th to place an order in my online store to get that card kit. After September 11th, I am going to have to raise my price of getting the card kit for free. So normally it was a $35 order. I'm going to have to raise that to $50 because shipping has just gone up again. And it's just, everything is just costing so much money. So I'm going to do that, but not for this particular kit. And then here's my host code down here. These are S's, not fives, in case you were wondering. So there you go. All right. When you order with me, you always get a free gift with purchase, no matter how much your order is. And in the month of August, it is the season of gold and green. The month of September, it'll be the splendid autumn. And then if your order is over $50 right now, you get another extra tutorial. In August, it was the Thoughtful Wishes. And then in September, it's going to be a combination of multiple suites and bundles out of the new catalog. And then, as we always talk about, Stamp Happy Academy, all of our PDF files from all of our mini classes go to Stamp Happy Academy along with our big classes. And then I always have adhesive kits for sale. So there you go. All right, if anybody has any questions about any of that, let me know in the comments. I do want to give a shout out to a couple of gals. I did get a very nice Get Well card from It's from Becky. It was also a thank you card for a bundle that I sent her. Becky is a member of Stamp Happy Academy, and every month we send out a bundle to one lucky member. And Becky was the winner in July. And so I sent her a bundle, and she sent me this adorable card as a thank you. Isn't that nice? And then today I got a cute card from Noreen in the mail. This is like a belated birthday gift and card from her. So cute, Noreen. Thank you so much. And look what she sent me. She sent me a bunch of hair products because I do try to like to wear my hair curly sometimes, but it's not very nice curly. So she was so sweet and she sent me all this stuff to reduce frizz and for curls. How awesome is that? So thank you so much, Noreen. That's awesome. All right. I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you guys. So let's get that out of the way. So for today, what I'm using is the Scenic Pumpkin Patch stamp set and the Simply Said stamp set. So in order to make the cards the way I've designed them, you're going to need both of these stamp sets. And then anything else that you need, any die cuts or anything, I will give you in your kit. Okay, so if you get a kit from me, you'll get all the die cuts and all the embossing and everything, but you will need both of these stamp sets to create the cards as I have designed them. Okay. So let's put that over to the side and bring in project number 1. So project number 1, you're going to get in your kit. This is a thick basic white card base. Ooh, I've got the inside done already. It's 5.5 by 8.5. You're going to get a piece of old olive. This measures 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. I appreciate that so much. Then we have crumb cake. This is a 3.5 by 4 3/4, and you can see that I have embossed that for you, and I will emboss that for you, and that uses our brand new Forever Plaid giant embossing folder. I just love these giant folders. You can actually get a couple, like I could run 2 of these through at the same time if I needed to. It's so awesome. So I will definitely do that for you. You are also going to get a circle cut from one of these Spotlight on Nature dies out of white. This one measures about, I think, 2 3/4 inch. It's the one that kind of has the coin edge. That's what I call it. I don't know what it's actually called, but I feel like it's the edge of a coin. And you're going to get 2 6-inch strips of the polka dot trim here. And then you're going to get a 3/8-inch strip of white. Okay. So we are going to do a little stamping and blending and whatnot on this little piece right here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in a scratch paper. Let me get a clean one. So we've got a clean scratch paper. We have a foam mat because we are going to be using photopolymer stamps. And then I also have my white label. So I'm going to actually start out by sticking this down a little bit just because I don't want it to move on me when I'm actually blending some stuff. And I'm going to bring in a blending brush. Doesn't matter if it's a big one or a small one. Either size will work. And then I have a bunch of ink pads here. But I'm going to start with my old olive. And so what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to add a little bit of like grass down here at the bottom. So I just tore that other scratch paper that I had sitting here. And I'm going to lay that across my circle, not a little bit farther down from the middle. Okay, so I've got a lot more white circle than I have showing. I'm going to bring in some ink, and then I'm also going to bring in a clear block because I like to kind of blend the ink around on my block before I actually start throwing it on my paper. I just feel like it just blends a little bit better when I do that. Okay, so I just wanted to get that started so I know where that is. Oh my gosh, look at that. I screwed that up already. I am going to get another circle because I have another one. Because I kind of thought to myself, gosh, Barb, what if you screw that up? You're going to need another circle. And here we are. So I'm going to start that over. And I'm going to tear a different piece of paper. So all I've done was I've taken some typing paper and I just tore it like right down the middle. That's literally all I did. So then I kind of have a little bit of a raggedy edge there. So we're going to start this again. We're going to get some ink on our brush. And then you can see I've got my block here. So I'm going to try to kind of blend that all together on my brush so that when I actually put my brush on my paper, it's not super, super inky. All right, this is better. My other torn edge was not really working that great. So we're getting some ink laid down here. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of move that out of the way. That looks fantastic. And we're going to hide these for just a second, and we're going to bring in some stamps. So we've got the little farmhouse. We've got the trees. I have the little tiny fence and then the roof of the farmhouse here. And then I have, these can either be birds or they can be tops to pumpkins. We're going to use them as birds today. And then we have the tree top for the trees. So I'm going to start with some cherry cobbler ink for my farmhouse. And I'm going to stamp that. Not quite in the center, but a little bit over from the center. So maybe about right here. Okay. Put that aside. Then I have the roof to the house, and I'm going to stamp that in some pecan pie. Okay, so we'll ink up our little roof here in the pecan. And then I may have to scooch this down a little more so I can actually see what I'm doing in order to get that on there. That's decent, but I didn't get that side. All right. So then am I done with the pecan pie? No, I need to ink up my trees. So I've got my trees also in pecan pie. And I'm going to kind of gently tap those off, and I'm going to stamp my trees right over here. Okay. So I think I'm done with the pecan pie, and I'm done with the cherry cobbler. So I'm going to close those up so that we don't get any mess going on here. And then I also have, I think I had some crumb cake somewhere. What did I do with my crumb cake? Oh, it's right here. So for the crumb cake, I'm going to stamp this little fence. And so right next to the house right here, and then right next to the house on the other side. Like that. Okay. So we're done with the crumb cake. The old olive, I'm going to bring that back in. I'm going to get this tree top here, and I'm going to get it nice and inky, and then I'm going to stamp it off real quick. And then I'm going to stamp it over these other trees so that I have done multi-generation stamping. Okay, then we have on the floor, we have a cloud that now has some dust on it and hair from the floor. Good Lord. There we go. I am going to use a piece of tape. This is a trick, you guys. I always do this, not always. If I'm using a really bold photopolymer stamp, I will take a piece of Scotch tape sometimes and rub that onto the Scotch tape, because that really helps get any excess dust off of them before you stamp. Because if you stick it in your ink pad and then you try to stamp it, it's just going to be a mess. So I've got balmy blue here now, and we're going to ink up this cloud. Okay, in some balmy blue, and I'm going to kind of stamp it above the house. And then I'm going to stamp it again a little higher in the sky, like that. And then I'm also going to bring in some basic gray. So this set is a great set to use with lots of different colors. So we're going to do the birds or pumpkin toppers. So I'm going to stamp them. I'm going to stamp it right here. That looks, I think, like birds. Hold on, let me tip it upside down. Nope, definitely like this. So we're going to actually add some birds. And then maybe some birds up here, like that. Okay, so then I'm going to close this ink as well. And then I'm going to come back to my paper here, and I'm going to put my scratch paper back down, and I'm going to get a little more ink on this. So I'm going to kind of swirl that around so that my ink is nice and blended. And then I'm going to add a little more ink to my circle here. So I kind of want it to be a little darker. And then my final little trick with this is going to be where I'm going to kind of tap my brush, and I'm going to tap it off a little bit, and then I'm just going to kind of pounce it on here just a tad. And that's going to kind of give it a little bit of texture, which is going to be super awesome. All right, so I'm going to kind of pull that off my scratch paper there, and I'm going to bring it closer to the camera so that you guys can actually see what we have done. I'll hold it there for just a second since I have this oriented in the wrong position. Hopefully that's helpful for you to see what I've actually done with the stamping. Lots and lots of fun this set is. Okay, so we are done with all of that. So let me get the old olive. I think I'm going to need again. And I might need, I need the pecan pie for sure, because we do need to stamp our sentiment here on our little strip of white that I have now lost. Oh, here we go. So we've got our little strip of white here, and I'm going to ink up my sentiment. It says thank you, and it's from the Simply Said set. And so I'm inking up thank you, and I'm going to stamp it in the center of this, or maybe more towards the right side. I'm afraid I've got some ink on the edge of the block there, and I don't want it to get messy. There we go. So I have to ask you guys, how many of you have this Scenic Pumpkin Patch set? It was one of the ones it's from the online exclusives that were released in July. So it hasn't been around too long, but it is super, super cute. I just love this. I wasn't really sure about it at first, but now that I've been kind of playing with it, oh, I'm so happy that I have it. Okay. We're going to add our embossed piece to the layer of old olive. So I like to use liquid glue whenever I'm adding something that's been embossed. I just feel like it sticks a little bit better. Okay, so get that on here, centered as best we can. Lisa says she doesn't think so. The chat is showing on the screen over what I'm stamping. What? Ugh. Can I get rid of the chat? I don't know. Is that happening for everybody? Is everybody's chat going over their screen? Sandy, what kind of device are you using? Just out of curiosity, are you watching me on a phone, or are you watching me on like a computer, or... Oh, Lisa says you can turn the chat off. So would she still be able to chat with us, Lisa, or no? Renee says yes. So are you guys using your phones, Renee and Sandy, or are you guys using like a computer or something, or an iPad or whatever? I'm just curious if you're on your phone, if that's the problem. That might be it, because the way I have this thing oriented, because I was having some issues today when I was trying to schedule this, and then YouTube was not being cooperative with me and I couldn't switch it back. And I didn't want to stop the whole thing, because if you stop the whole thing, then I have to have a brand new link, and it's just a big problem. Sandra says laptop. That is very strange. But like Lisa says, you can turn the commenting off. So Create with Sarah says, I turn it off so your screen is bigger, and she puts the chat back on when she wants to chat. So, and Suzanne says her chat's on the side of the video. And that's how it is on my iPad, Suzanne. I can see all the chat on the side. But on my computer, I think it's the same. But on a phone, I kind of feel like since the screens are so small that it, what do you call it? It shows up over the screen. And Diana says that she tries not to have too many Halloween sets. This is not a Halloween set, Diana. Look at this. This doesn't say Halloween to anybody. At least it doesn't to me. So yeah, I just think it's super cute. All right, so we're going to take these two ribbons and we're going to layer them together, kind of crisscrossy a little bit, and I'm going to attach those to my circle. Okay, so I kind of want it to come... You know what I'm going to do first of all? I think I'm going to tape these together, because sometimes that helps me keep things together. Okay. You can make it Halloween, definitely, you know, depending on if you just use the pumpkins or something. But okay, so now we're going to lay this on here about like so. I want it to be a little higher on that side. Okay, so then I'm going to tape this down again, because you know me and my Scotch tape. It's kind of like my best friend. There we go. And then we have that, and then I'm going to snip off the ends. So, and I've got this little stuff that's kind of being a little bit weird. So I'm going to trim off the ends here. And these are my most favorite Stampin' Up! Scissors. We don't sell them anymore, but man, they are just awesome. I love them for cutting ribbon. I can't imagine ever getting rid of them. Okay, are those about the same? No, this one I think needs to be a little shorter to kind of meet up with the other one. There, that's better. All right, so I'm going to add this to my card. And actually, I think I need to trim these a little bit more. The one that I was working on earlier today, I must have trimmed it quite a bit because it seemed like it was better. Okay. Yes, now I'm going to add some dimensionals, not where I have the ribbon because I don't want to add any more bulk to the card. So I'm going to put the dimensionals above and below the ribbon. Okay, Francie says on iPhone, or Pamela says on the iPhone, the 3 dots to the right is where you can turn off the chat. Thank you, Pamela. Hopefully that helps some people. And Francie says her chat is fine. Okay, good. I'm glad you said that, Sandy, because now we hopefully have been able to rectify that problem. All right, so for this, I'm going to stick this kind of up here. So you can do whatever you want on the end of it. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Oh, Cheryl's wanting to know if this ribbon's in the new catalog. No, Cheryl, it was actually an online exclusive a while ago. So it's actually still online. And the item code for this is 163465. And it is called the Natural Polka Dot Trim is what it's called. It's actually a really nice kind of fallish thing. All right, so I'm going to cut this straight on this side. And then we had it kind of trimmed on the excess. And I'm going to use some mini dimensionals here to add this to my card. So I'm going to put one here and one here. All right. Susan says she bought the pumpkin patch set to use with the snow front set. Doubles my idea for cards. That's brilliant. All right, there we go. And then I already got the inside stamp. So I did the same thing on the inside that I did on the outside with the house and the fence and the tree. And so there it is. Trying to get this close up, a little bit close up so you can sort of see it and get the full effect of how cute this is. So I hope you guys like that. That's card number 1. And I'm not really using any embellishments for my cards this week. I couldn't really decide on one that I wanted. So if you do end up ordering, $75 or more, I've got some embellishments in my stash and I will send you something because I have a lot. Okay. So that was card number 1. Let me do a tiny bit of cleaning. I'm going to clean this block off. I need the trees again, so I'm going to clean those. I need the birds/pumpkin tops. And I don't think I need this house, but Cherry Cobbler ink can be a bit scary because it's kind of dark. Okay, let me push those up there, and then we'll get that stuff out of the way. And then we're going to bring in stuffed card number 2. Okay, so here we have supplies for card number 2. And what we have is a piece of, this is very vanilla thick cardstock. And now I have mine cut this way, but yours is going to be cut the other way. So it's going to be, the card's going to be the same. It's just going to open differently, which is not a big deal. I just happen to have this already in my file folder or my file over here, and I didn't want to just not use it. So there you go. And then you're going to get a piece of this designer series paper. Now this is the designer series paper called To Market. And it may not have really been on your radar because all the pieces seem to have like vegetables on one side, which even for me it doesn't do anything for me. But the back sides do a ton for me. So I am loving the back sides, and that's the back side of this tomato paper is just some really nice garden green pattern. And so you're going to get a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of that in your kit. And we're just going to put that right on the front of our card. Okay. You're also going to get a piece of pecan pie that is 2 by 4. A piece of vanilla that is 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then a 1/2 inch strip of vanilla that we're going to put our greeting on. Is that right? Yes. And then I'm going to give you this label. This label is in pumpkin pie, and it comes out of the Iconic Imagery bundle. Super cute label. I love this so much. And this is also an online exclusive. So I will give you this in your kit. You do not need to have this. I will also give you a piece of this pecan pie ribbon. This is also an online exclusive. It's called the Center Stripe ribbon, and it's in pecan pie. So it's got a really nice strip of pecan pie right down the middle. You can actually pull that thread out and use it without it being in the ribbon if you want to. And then you're going to get about an 8-inch piece of our garden green baker's twine, or linen thread, excuse me. This is in the new mini catalog. So you'll be able to order this on Wednesday. So it's linen thread, and it comes in Night of Navy, Cajun Craze, and then garden green. Okay. So you're going to get all that stuff in your kit. And we're going to do a little stamping here. So let me get my 2 pieces of paper that we're going to stamp on, which is the strip and this piece here. And let's see, I'm going to bring in my scratch paper, make sure I'm in the frame. And we have some ink here. So I'm going to start with some pumpkin pie. And this could be a Halloween card, or it doesn't have to be a Halloween card. It's whatever you want it to be. And I'm going to ink up the pumpkins in pumpkin pie. And I'm going to stamp that up here, kind of at the top, just in from the right side. Okay, like so. Then I have the single pumpkin here, and I'm going to do it also in pumpkin pie. And I'm going to get that kind of right here at the edge. Okay, so now we have some pumpkins. Then we also have a fence piece that we need to bring in. And this is the large fence. And so we're going to ink that up in the pumpkin pie. And I'm going to stamp it kind of right next to my pumpkins here. Maybe overlapping it just a tiny bit. Something like that. And then I'm also going to stamp it down here at the bottom underneath the pumpkins. Maybe about like so. Okay. Then I've got the other set of pumpkins. It is a set of mini pumpkins. Where did they go? Oh, where are you, little pumpkins? Oh, right here. So this is a little set of pumpkins. It's a little smaller than the ones I've already put down there. And now these are kind of weird. So I recommend stamping them on your scratch paper first to kind of get a feel. Now I'm going to flip it upside down to see which way it's better. Dolly wants to know what color the fence is. Oh, I meant pecan pie. Sorry about that. Okay. And then, so I've stamped them the 2 different directions. And then we have the little topper piece that I used as birds in our first card. And we're going to bring that in also. And I'm going to ink that up in some garden green ink. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to see. So if I try to put it on top of this one, how I stamped it right here, it's not going to work. You can see it's totally out of whack. But this one, it's totally in whack. So that's how I know. And I do this every time I use this stamp because I can never remember which way is upside down and which way is right side up. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to ink it up again. I'm going to make sure, okay, that's the way I want to stamp it. And I'm going to stamp that right over here, kind of by the fence, about like so. All right. And then I'm going to bring in my little pumpkin toppers again. And we are going to stamp them like so. We also have pumpkin toppers for this guy here. And that is, this one's a little more obvious what it goes with and what direction to use it. So we're going to scooch this down just a hair. And I'm going to look. So I'm kind of looking at this pumpkin here and the end pumpkin. And that's the 2 I'm kind of looking at to see if I've got this lined up properly. And there I did. So yay me. And then I put the other little single pumpkin topper on the back side of the block with this little pumpkin. And we're going to stamp it by itself. Okay. So then down here, I'm going to do another little single pumpkin. Not all the way in the frame, a little bit off. And we'll add the little topper to that as well. And then there's this really cute kind of viney image in this set. And I'm going to use some garden green still, same color. And I'm going to add that kind of right down here with this pumpkin. And then I'm going to kind of add it over that pumpkin there. A little bit coming in over here. And then a little bit coming in up here. So now we have a little kind of pumpkin scene. I'll hold that up so you can kind of check that out and see what I've done there. So we've got some pumpkins. So I'm done with my garden green. I'm done with my pumpkin pie. And now I need to bring in my sentiment piece. This one says, let's celebrate. And I'm going to ink this up in pecan pie as well. So I've got my pecan pie pad over here. Got that inked up. And we're going to go, I'm just going to go in the center and then I'm going to trim it up however I want it to be when I go to stick it on my card. All right, so pumpkin pie. All right, so then this layer here is going to go onto our pumpkin pie layer. But before we do that, we're going to wrap the ribbon around this layer. And you want to kind of have it be even when it comes off the edge. So these are pretty even. You can see my ends are pretty much lined up right. I want it to be in the middle. So I'm going to kind of wiggle it around until it's in the center. The pecan pie layer is a 2x4. All right, and then I'm going to tape this down. Okay, because this is going to help me do my next step if this is taped down. But you want to make sure that your tape isn't seen, so you can see how I kind of put it in from the edges. And I'm going to do that on the back side as well, because I don't want my ribbon to move. It's just going to make it easier for me to do my next step if my ribbon is held in place. And so we're going to do that. All right. So now my ribbon is stuck to my layer. It's not going anywhere. And now I can very easily tie a bow at the end of this. So I'm taking my garden green linen thread and I'm going to tie that pretty tight there at the edge where it's coming off of the paper. Try to anyway. There we go. So I've got a pretty good, it's pretty tight. And then I'm just going to finish it with a bow. Okay, so kind of pull the ends so they look nice. So my loops are good. And so my ribbon is nice. And that's what we've done. So now we're going to add this with dimensionals to go over that. And I have got a sheet of mini dimensionals here that is getting close to being used up. So I like to trim the edges here. So I've got all these little edge pieces. And I'm going to go above and below the ribbon here so I don't end up adding any dimensionals to the ribbon to make this any more bulky. All right. Okay. So are you guys, what are you thinking of this so far? I know it's hard to say right now because we haven't actually finished it, but it's going to be really cute. All right. So now we're going to add this over everything. And now we can trim off our ribbons. So I'm going to trim it off like that. And then I'm going to trim my top one just a little bit more, just for a little bit of interest. And then I'm going to try to cut this so that it's kind of even. Okay. So then our little sentiment here, we are going to cut this off, and you can cut it however you want. You can do it like a banner end if that's what you want to do. You can cut it straight. You can cut it at an angle. I think I'm going to go for the banner end. And if you don't have this retired punch, then you can certainly just cut it with scissors. I like to use this little punch. I haven't gotten rid of it because I really like it. I don't really have any plans of getting rid of it because it does come in pretty handy. So, but I'm going to keep trimming this down. Okay, that looks pretty good. Slide that in there. And let's see, maybe one more little chunk off the end there. And we should be good. Okay, and so I'm just going to stick this right here, just right over what I've already got going on. And I'm going to do it with some mini dimensionals. Well, they would be mini, but they're edges. So whatever you have that will fit this. Fall is my favorite time of year also, Lisa. I totally get what you're saying. All right, so then I'm just going to kind of throw this on here just for a little more interest. We pop that up. Now here's some fun. We're going to cut this label in half, and I'm going to stick it to the center on the top and the bottom. All right. So I'm just going to kind of eyeballing it to see if it's centered from side to side. And then I just want that little banner end to show. And then I'm going to do that up here as well. So it's just another little interesting piece. I mean, you could probably get away without using it, but I just thought it was kind of cute. So I'm going to line that up. I'm going to tape it to this. And then I'm going to tape both sides to my ribbon. So it's kind of a giant mess on the back here. But the beauty of that is no one's going to see it. And then how fun is that? So then we'll do some dimensionals again. And again, I'm going to keep them away from anything else that I have on here so that I'm not adding a bunch of bulk. So I need to chop off a chunk there. All right. There we go. Let's get the backings peeled off. And then we can add it to, well, let me put this designer series paper on my card first. And remember, your card is not going to open like this. Your card's going to open like the normal way. I just had this layer in my stash, and so I wanted to use it. Whoops, I got a dimensional stuck on there. That's not going to be good. All right, so let's eyeball this and see if we can get this on here nicely. I think we can. And then we're going to add our little label here with all this fun. Something like that. And then I've already got the inside done. So I used another sentiment out of that same stamp set that says birthday wishes. And then I just kind of copied my same pumpkin pattern here on the inside. And there it is. Again, definitely not a Halloween vibe for me for this one either. So there you go. Okay, so that's card number 2. Let me clean some things off and then put them away. I need this big fence again. I need my little row of mini pumpkins. I don't need that. I don't need the, oh yes, I do need the tree thing. I need the, actually, I don't think I need the single pumpkin. I do need the tree and a bunch of these other pumpkins for our next card. Ooh, I am so glad I'm inspiring you guys with this. It's a great set. It really, really is. Okay. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way, and then we'll bring in our final card, the guts here for the final card. Wow, I am making a giant mess, and since I only have this much room to work with, it's a little bit difficult. Okay, so what do we have here? We have this. Oh, I have some labels here because I'm going to have you guys help me decide which color to use. All right, so what do we have here? We have an inside layer that's already stamped, so pretend it's not. This is very vanilla. It's 4 by 5 1/4. This is also very vanilla, but this is 3 3/4 by 5. Copper clay, 4 by 5 1/4, I think. Hold on, let me measure this because now I'm not positive. Yes, 4 by 5 1/4. And then a copper clay card base that's 8.5 by 5.5. Okay. Okay, did somebody say something that I missed? Oh, Janet makes cards for retired teachers. That's awesome, Janet. Good for you. I'm sure they do appreciate it. And then you're going to get some twine. This is about 24 inches. It's not twine, it's linen thread. 24 inches of linen thread. And then about an 8-inch piece to tie a bow. And then you're going to get a label, but we haven't decided what color we're going to use yet. So, okay. So for the copper clay layer, we're going to bring in some copper clay ink, and we're going to bring in a sponge dauber, and we're going to actually add a little bit of copper clay around the edge here, because we're going to have like a copper clay layer on a copper clay card base. And I just feel like if you add a little bit of copper clay, the same color ink, whatever you happen to be doing, if you had this old olive, you do the same thing. But if you add a little bit of copper clay ink, this is hilarious. My sponge dauber is super old and it is literally falling apart on me as I'm doing this. So I'm going to have to clean this up. Otherwise, we're going to get like ink everywhere. Ah, mess. Okay, so this is going to go in the trash as soon as I'm done with this. So right now, okay, hold on. I got a piece of Scotch tape here, and I'm going to try to pick up all those little bits that just tore off of my my thing. And then I have to use my finger to wipe that up. Okay, did we get all the bits off my super old sponge dauber that just died on me? Do I have it on my hands? I'm licking my hands and wiping them on my pants because my pants are not that nice and I don't care. Okay, that's done. So then you'll be able to really notice this layer popping up off of this layer now that it's got some color to it. All right, so our small layer of copper clay, we're going to bring back our, what do we call this? Scratch paper. And we're going to try to build a scene. So here we go. We're also going to be using some masking paper, and you guys are going to get some masking paper in your kit. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to take your stamps. So you can see I've got 2 different kinds of pumpkins here. So you would take like this trio of pumpkins here. I'm going to ink it up first, and then I'm going to stamp it onto my layer of copper clay. Like that, full strength. And then on your scrap piece of masking paper, you can stamp it again. Okay. And then all you're going to do is just kind of trim around this. I'm only going to trim around the top because I don't need to trim around the rest of it, because when I'm adding more pumpkins to my card, I'm only going to add them over the top of this. So if you want to cut the whole thing out, you can. I'm not going to. I'm just going to cut around the top, and then I'm going to come straight down the edge, kind of over here, and then that's it. That's all I'm going to do. That way I kind of have a little bit of a handle, I guess. So then I'm going to remove the paper backings. I like to put it on my hand, the back of my hand. That takes some of the sticky off because they're pretty sticky and they can actually tear your paper if you don't do that. So I'm going to end up needing to mask this. So you can see I'm not putting it all the way to the top. You can see that my mask is not lined up at the top. You can see my stamping underneath is showing through, and I did that on purpose because when I stamp my next set of pumpkins, I need them to, I need this to be like this, and I'll show you what I mean when I get to that. So I'm going to ink up my trio of pumpkins again, and I'm going to stamp them kind of next to, but a little bit above the ones I just stamped. Okay. And now I have another mask. So you're going to need 2 of the masks for this larger trio of pumpkins, and then you'll have enough paper to get your mask for your other ones. And then I'm going to stamp this kind of in the middle of these pumpkins, something like so. So now when I remove my masks, you can see that they look like they're actually behind each other. And so the reason I stuck that down just a little bit was because if I stuck it exactly at the top of these pumpkins, when I stamped my other ones, there would be a little bit of a gap. Okay. If you don't mind the gap, then you can do that. I mind the gap, so I don't like to do that. All right. So then I'm going to stamp another trio of pumpkins like right here. All right. So we are done with our trio of pumpkins. We're going to set that aside. We're done with our copper clay. We're going to set that aside. And now we're going to bring in some Calypso coral. Okay. And now we're going to stamp the kind of larger 5 pumpkins. We're going to start doing something with them. So I need to mask this off. And again, I'm leaving just a slight bit at the top. And then I need to mask off this one too. Masking is one of the coolest things there is to do. All right, so I'm inking this up in my Calypso coral. And I'm going to stamp it so that it kind of touches both of these pumpkins. And then I can peel my masks off. Isn't that so cool? All right, so then we're going to bring our masks over here. And we're going to get this tall one, the one that's kind of sticking up the most, like that. Ink up our pumpkins again in the same color, Calypso coral. And we're going to stamp that like that. Okay. And then we're going to ink this up again in the coral. And then this time, we're going to use our mask for this large bunch. And I'm going to add that to this coral. And you can see, again, I have that coming down. So it's not quite at the top. We're going to ink it up with the coral. And I'm going to stamp it again. Kind of, what do I want to do? I want to scooch it over. So I'm going to do it like this. Okay. And you can do it however you want. It doesn't, you don't have to copy what I'm doing if you don't want to. You can do it however you want. Okay. Oh my gosh, I got some ink up there. Well, we're going to hope that it's not going to matter. We'll see what happens. If we have to kind of get rid of it, we will. Okay, next is Petal Pink. And then we're going to use the tiny little pumpkins. Okay, there's a set of these tiny little pumpkins. And again, I have to remember how I stamped them. So I need to look on the back side of this to make sure how I did it. So I'm going to copy that same. Okay, so it's like this. Got to remember how that worked. Okay, so I'm going to bring in this little mask here, and I'm going to stick it on. So again, some of it's showing at the top. And then I'm going to stamp my bunch of pumpkins just like that. Get rid of that. And then I'm going to stamp them right here, like so. And again, over here, like that. And then again up here. Okay. And I might have to use my ink eraser to get rid of some of this, or at least make it a little lighter. So ink erasers are a pretty cool thing to have. I do, my adhesive kits do come with them. Or you can get them on Amazon. I don't know if I have a link to these in the description of this video or not, but you can find them on Amazon. Okay, so that's a lot lighter, so I'm okay with that. All right, so then I'm going to close up my Petal Pink, and I'm going to bring in some crushed curry, and now we're going to work with these trees. Okay, so I'm going to stamp a set of trees right there, and a set of trees right there, and a set of trees maybe right next to that, like that. Then we have the little tree topper. So stamp it off once, and then just kind of go back in and fill up your tree. It doesn't really matter if it's perfect or not. It's going to look great no matter how you do it. All right. Then we've got early espresso, because now we need a fence. So I'm going to ink that up in some early espresso, and I'm going to start on this side, and I am going to stamp my fence. Okay, and then I'm going to do it one more time, and then I'm going to line this up so that my slats going this way line up with the previous stamped one. And there it is. Oh, I got ink on my foam pad. Not a problem. Okay, so now we have that part done. Now we're going to bring in all of the little toppers for all the pumpkins. All right, so we'll start with one of the easy ones. That's clean. And this is Old Olive. And we're going to start with this one here. I think like that. This little guy is kind of by himself right there. These, I think, do I need to mask that off? I'm going to get this one first instead, like that. And yes, I think I do. So I'm going to mask this section here. And then we're going to get these four, like that. It's a little bit putsy, but oh my gosh, it is so cute when you get done. Okay, so that was the larger, or the middle-sized pumpkins. Here's my little topper for these copper clay pumpkins. We'll get all these. This one's pretty simple to line up. There we go. And then we have the birds / pumpkins for the final one here. So we'll get all these. Whoops, that one I did not get very well, but we're not going to cry about it. We're just going to move on. And then these over here. Okay, I think I got all of my pumpkins now have toppers. Such a cute layout. And now we're pretty much done. So all we have to do now is I'm going to attach my twine my linen thread. So I'm going to start it kind of over here on the left side. And I'm going to put a tiny little piece of tape on it to keep it in place. And then I'm going to wrap, oh, that's not the right twine. Hold on. That's the one for the bow. That isn't going to work. Okay. So we got our long twine and we're going to wrap it around like 3 times. Okay. And then when we get back to the end, we're going to tape this down also. Okay. And then we don't need this end here. We can get rid of that. All right. This one we're going to tie in a bow. Did I lose you guys on this? I know it's a little bit putsy, but man, it is so cute. And I just love masking all these off and making a big, like, pumpkin patch scene with them. Okay. There. Now we have our bow. Okay, now is where I need you guys' help. You need to tell me which label you like the best. So I have gotten a label, 3 of them. This is a label from Greetings of the Season. This is a die set that goes with a word set that's kind of Christmassy. And it kind of is part of the green and gold suite that was an online exclusive. It's still available. It came out in July. So this is one of the labels that's in that. And that's what I have here in 3 different colors, and I will die cut this for you guys, but I need you to tell me what color you like the best. Okay, let me actually kind of put the card together. That might be super helpful in deciding what color you like the best. And actually, I better use dimensionals for this because if we don't, then our twine might be a little too clunky. So we're going to do this. And this, and that. Oops, tear that off, and that. And then I need one more for the middle. Okay. Shella has already decided that it's going to be yellow. I don't blame you, Shella. That was kind of my favorite too, but you never know. Okay. So we're going to add this to our copper clay that we have gone around with a sponge dauber and some ink. Okay. And we'll get this, and we're going to add this to the front of the card. So let's get this on. There we go. Okay. So here is the copper clay. Okay. So that, I'll let you think about that for a second. I'll even scooch it up. So this is copper clay. Okay. This is crushed curry. This is my fave. Here's crushed curry. What do you guys think of that? Pretty fantastic. And then petal pink. I thought maybe a light one might work, but it didn't really work for me. I like the yellow. So there we go. So you guys let me know. The inside, oh gosh, that is a mess. I need to redo this, but it's not going to look this crappy when I actually stick it inside the card. But here it is. I took the Misuse Sentiment out of the same stamp set. I did some pumpkins the same way, added their tops and the fence. How did that even happen? I do not, oh, I bet that was from all those little bits that fell off of my sponge dauber. I should have known that sponge dauber was going to be a problem. So that would go inside, but it's not going to because I need to redo that and make it nice. Okay, I'm looking at my fingers and I kind of have ink all over the place. Oh, that's what happens when you're stamping, right? Okay, so I'm going to add some bits of dimensional. Where is my scissors? I'm going to cut like an edge off this. The minis have a really kind of a cool edge because there isn't like mini dimensionals on the edge, but it's a nice strip. And so I'm going to put some strips on the very top of, and the very bottom. My other little piece flew clear up above here. And on the bottom. There we go. Okay. Get those off. And we're going to kind of straddle the twine that's already on there, so we're not really adding any bulk. Okay. And then I'm going to get a little glue dot here. Everybody said crushed curry. I kind of figured you guys would. I even asked my daughter this morning before she went to work, which is to the college to study. That's been her job, her full-time job all summer. And she also said crushed curry. So we're all in agreement, I think. Okay, now we're going to add our little twine bow here on the edge of the label. Actually, I think I'm going to make that a little smaller if I can get that to pull through my glue dot. If I can't, well, then it is what it is. Yeah, we got it a little. Yeah, I just want to make that just a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to trim off some of that. And there it is. So cute. Oh my gosh, you guys. Again, apologies all over the place for the stupid way that the camera has to be. I'm really mad about that, but there's nothing I can do about it. So here are all of my cards. So these would be all the cards you would get in a card kit if you did place a $35 order in my store between now and September 11th. I will send you a kit for this. You will get this embossed. You will get this die cut circle, this die cut label, this die cut label. So all you really need is the 2 stamp sets, and then you can make all these cards, and of course probably lots of other amazing cards as well. So thank you guys so much for bearing with me today. I appreciate it so much. Don't forget that I have product shares available, as well as a share of that awesome new 2-tone cardstock that we're coming out with next week. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them. And I will probably see you guys next week. We're not going to have a card kit, but I should be live showing you some of the fun stuff out of the new catalog. And yes, I will see you guys soon. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.